Hey, I'm Kelly, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, three crazy rescue dogs, four rescued guinea pigs, and now a rescued cat who likes to craft in her spare time, has gone back to school to learn ASL, and is trying to train for Ironman. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It sends me a message. It boosts my serotonin and my self-esteem, which I could use. If you're returning, grab your drink, sit on back, and let's have at it. There's a lot to do. It's a lot. I don't know what invaded my body this weekend, but I didn't even get it all up on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram at His Princess Kelly, you've seen some of this, but not all of it. Again, no idea. I'm just letting you know, though, that I am safe. I have not been kidnapped, and nobody is posing as me as a call for help. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, one of the things we normally do here is a sign of the week. And I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I ran out of glue sticks. That tells you how much I've been doing. Okay. So, we generally do the sign of the week. And I think that a lot of you enjoy it. And it's interesting because we've been having a lot of discussions in my class about autism, which is, believing that being hearing is better than being, than a deaf person, and some other things. And I am electing at this point based on what I have learned recently, because I'm always, I think the goal for us as people is to always learn. And as you learn more, you adjust your behavior accordingly. And so I am electing that for now until, for I don't know how long. It may be indefinitely. I will no longer be doing a sign of the week. I want to be respectful of the ASL language and the deaf culture. It is never my goal. It was never my purpose to replace you going and learning ASL from somebody who is deaf, because that is really and truly the best place to learn it. Not to stand in that arena. And for me, because I am learning and stepping forward and doing things, what I may do is direct you to a deaf creator or a deaf business so that you can support the deaf community. But I won't be doing the sign of the week. We'll still be talking about my class, but again, I'm not going to do the sign of the week. That may change in the future, but for right now, just know. So yeah, so I am catching up on schoolwork. I have like 4 papers due this week out of 3 classes, 4 classes, 4 classes. I have a test tonight, and I think we have a test in both classes tomorrow. And I took the test in yoga already. I just have to write my paper that is due on Wednesday. Nothing like waiting until the last minute. So yeah. But all is well. But there's a whole lot to show you guys, because again, the invasion of the body snatchers must have happened, because I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I am like the queen of FFos. I know. So, okay. So here we go. So as you guys know, I play WhipGo. And I love playing WhipGo. It is totally feeding my ADHD wonderfully. So this is my board. I know, isn't that crazy? I'm down to the last 3 squares on my board, which is 10 days on Lady of the Flag, 10 days on the Disney Cell, and 10 Days on Tree of Life from Barbara Anna. It doesn't matter. Mine are all yearly goals. So technically, Lady of the Flag was an October poll. Disney Style is one of the November polls, and then that leaves December for Tree of Life. But, you know, because I kind of, I still did a little bit of stitch what I want when I want kind of thing. So, the other thing that I am doing is on Instagram with Leanne, the Devoted Quilter. She does Whips Be Gone, and this is year 2022. And the focus is there's 100 days left in the year. And so let's focus on finishing projects and doing whatever. And I think she's primarily a quilter, although I think she does, hang on one second. Maisie May, leave Houdini alone. We'll talk about Houdini in a second. Remind me. Okay, so I made my list of things that I wanted to focus on getting done by the end of this year. All the check ones are the ones that are done. Who am I? Who am I? So what's left is I want to do the castle. I want to do my Whip Go Goal on the Disney Style, which I put the castle, but we're going to talk about that because I think I'm going to change it. 10 Days on Lady of the Flag, the black ring for Marine Corps emblem, and to catch up on the Under the Sea style. By the way, they were turtles. If you watched last week, and I was like, I don't know what's with the boy. They're turtles. They're turtles. Yeah. Don't judge me. We don't judge on the show for anything going down. Okay, so I have that. Okay, so all of these little check marks though are things I get to show you. Okay, so let's start off with FFos because they're piled pretty high. Let's start on these because these get given away tonight, which works out perfect because we have a test in this class. So I ended up finishing them. I went and got some, it's like artist board actually by Carson. I couldn't find solid like pieces of mat board was what I was thinking because it's thinner than the foam core. I couldn't find any that didn't have like the center hole cut out, which I don't need the center hole cut out because that's not what I'm doing. So this is the mat board, the board that I got, artist board. Like I said, it's by Carson. It feels like mat board, but it wasn't with the frame, so I don't know. So let's see. This is Lindsay. And I figure they could either hang it on a tree like this, or I could give them the little key ring so that they can hang it on their key ring. I don't know. So that's what I did. This is Katie, Faith, Natalia, Heather, Sujari, Jasmine, Amber, Farron, Lily 2, Kelly, who is our professor, not me, Kelly, Erin, and Chloe. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Could they be better? I'm sure. Sure. Guess what? It's okay. They don't have to be perfect. They're sweet. They work. The one that I am worried about still, and I may offer to restitch it for her, is Heather's. It doesn't even have enough so it is glued, but there's no way to make it prettier than that. So those go in my bag to go to class tonight. And that's 6, 14 little finishes. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. Okay, but that isn't even half of it. Not even half of it. Okay. So next up, remember I finished Happy Halloween by Primrose Cottage Stitches to absolutely love. Last year in a clearance bin at Joann's, they had this little cube frame. There's actually a metal piece, it's gold, and it says like December 25th on it. I actually think I got it for free at Joann's because my Joann's at like after they've had the holiday stuff for a while, they just had bins and they're like, take what you want, it's free. And I found it. And I'm 99% sure that's what it is. But hello. I had black flannel in my fabric stash. What you got, Nigel? Nigel, what are you eating? So I did buy the ribbon from Joann's. I think it's perfect. How cute is that? Was it done in time for Halloween? No. And so the person who asked me to stitch this from is like, well, it's kind of late now. What am I going to, like, you know what? Here's what you're going to do with it. You're going to shut your mouth. You're going to say, thank you. I can't believe you thought of me so much to do that, especially with everything else you've got done. I can't wait till next year to put it out. It's perfect. That's what you say. That's what you say. I don't know. Maybe I should add a little bit of glue there, but I'm out of glue sticks, so we'll just tuck it there. Okay, but again, not all. That's not all. Not even. Okay. So this is for my Stacy C's Stitches exchange for Christmas. Okay, hello, who am I? Like, this is for a Christmas exchange. It doesn't even have to go out until like the end of the month, I think. And I've already got the package like partly done, like the extras, the extra little goodies to put in there. So Jessica, if you're watching right now, you might want to turn away because you may not want to see what I'm sending you. But you know, hey, it's up to you. But I'm giving you the heads up that I'm going to show it right now. Okay, and then I'll let you know when you can turn your head and turn around. Okay, so how cute is that? I'm debating throwing a magnet on the back of it for her, and then she can just pop it on her fridge. How cute is that? Yeah, I think it's adorable. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's probably not for you anyways, unless you're Jessica. Jessica, by the way, you can come back. Because it's going to Jessica. So, okay, so we're still not done with finishes. I know. Who am I? I don't know. I pulled out my sewing machine and in a matter of like 2 seconds, okay, it was a little bit longer than that. It was probably like 5 minutes. I sewed both ends of the tea towel. So the tea towel is completely done for my other exchange present for my sorority sister. How cute is that? Oh, by the way, the one from Jessica is plug your ears, Jessica. Whatever. Is from Hands On Design. This one is French Country Squirrel by JBW Designs. How cute is that? How cute. Perfect. But wait, there's more. I know. Are you all like, what the heck is the invasion of the world is not ending that I know. Or anything other bad. I don't know, got a wild here. Okay, so this is the other FFO that I did. This is Christmas. It's Christmas time. Christmas time by Fat Quarter Shop. Okay. In the called for Weeks Dye Works. I think they're Weeks Dye. I don't know. Classic Colorworks. It's the call for Fancy Floss. So then when I was cutting my mat board, you know, I did this first, and I measured twice. I thought I did. for this back piece, I cut it in like a 1/2 inch too short on the one side, so I would have a frame to go all the way only on the top and the bottom, or on the two sides, and that looked goofy to me. So what I did is I just tilted it so it's like diamond shaped, and then I put this board on top. It is sitting on the little sled. How cute is that? I had other like things to put up here, and it just was looking so busy that I was like, my bow is only held on by a pipe cleaner, so that way we can always change it out if she doesn't like it. But again, how cute is that for a door? Right? I love it. I want to stitch this again and make one for me. So I'm going to have to track down another sled. But it's so cute. This backing fabric is from Joann's. It reminds me the color-wise of Debbie Mum. And I think it is one of her fabrics. But the colors work perfect. I know. So, yeah. So, like, all the FFOs. I don't. All of. Oh, wait. I got one more. So, this is a sheep. I made a frame with the 2 magnets on it a while back for a friend of mine. I was doing all the he would basically have a different sheep. He'd have a sheep a month. And I haven't gotten, I had this FFO, or I had it stitched, I didn't FFO it. So all it is it's folded on a mat board, on some mat board. Yes, I realize it's not centered right. I can't change it now. There is enough fabric that if I wanted to pull off the glue, I could scoot it over. I'm not going to worry about it. And then I just pop it on the magnets. There's 2 magnets on the blackboard that he's got, so every month they can just switch it out. But that's been sitting in my basket for eons. So that's done too. So that can go thing out of the house. Out of the house. So I already showed you my finish on Plant Life, so there's that. So what did I actually stitch on, right? Because that's a whole lot of FFOing. And while it did take a lot of time cutting those stupid boards, I did some other things. I did actually get quite a bit of stitching done. I'm pretty proud of where I am on things. So my goal on my Whips Be Gone page was to finish the tree for Tree of Life, because I was worried about whether or not it would fit on my Ada. It's also one of the Whip Go goals, which means 10 days on it. Now, I have worked so far 6 days on it. One day was pretty light. It does fit on my piece of Ada. Clearly not centered. Not centered. But, I mean, I have, what, 1.5 inches? So I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine. And we have obviously more top border than bottom border. But again, it's okay. It's okay. So we need to put 4 more days in on Barbara Anna's Tree of Life to be able to cross off the square on Whip Go. I'm not sure if I'm going to start on bottom motifs or on top motifs. And I sort of feel like right now, I kind of want to start at the top so that it feels like a little finished. Because I think in 4 days of decent stitching, I should be able to finish that top row. Should. Let me look. So this is from, you have to order this from Nitka. I hit the button. I apologize. Okay. So back to Tree of Life. You have to order it from Nitka Moscow. Now, I believe she now has a website, but I ordered this from when you had to order from her on Instagram, like if you were in the US, and she would ship you, and it comes in this beautiful tube that it's just kind of funky to carry around. And then the pattern pieces are huge. So I have made a working copy of parts of it so that like I could do the tree stem and cross off as I go. So the top shelf, and it's weird because there is no, where's my little doodad? There we go. Okay, so the only picture you get is this. Now you can go on Instagram and there's plenty of people who have finished it because we all know. Yeah, I don't have a game. So here's the funny thing. I told you guys last time I was going to change this out to a dog. Well, Houdini is apparently here to stay. So we will be keeping the cat in the picture. So, but I think that top row is manageable in 4 days. I may even get like a little bit further than the top row. So we'll see. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to start at the top and work my way down as far as motifs or whatever sort of tickles my fancy to stitch on. So we are making good progress. Like I said, I know it fits on the fabric now. That makes me feel a lot better. And I think now that I have the base done, the base of the tree done, I feel like it will go faster. But it's super cool. So that would be nice. Like I said, 4 more days on that. I did meet the Whips Be Gone goal I set for it though. So now we're just got to knock out the Whip Go goal. Let's see, what else did I stitch? I worked on Marine Corps emblem, which is going to be a gift for a friend of mine's husband, who is a retired Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine. This has been giving me a headache. My whips, so it's already been, I've used it as Whip Go for a couple of months now. The last 3 prompts does not, there's nothing, like, it won't fit any of the last 3 prompts because those are for very specific projects. But for Whips Be Gone, my goal before the end of the year is to have this black ring done. Now this is just solid black, so that's my brainless stitching. So this will say Marine Corps down here, and then there'll be a solid chunk of black here. So if I can get that done, that leaves me in, puts me in 2023, I think, in a really, really good spot, and it for sure will get done in the first part of the year then. And we'll talk about why I think that, because it's not that I'm just like laying out goofy plans. I've been, you'll see, we've talked about a lot, and I figured out a lot. Okay, so one of one of my Whip Go squares is the Epic Princess Storybook Sal from Clouds Factory. Now, I call it the Disney Sal because they're Disney stories. It's not like random princesses. It's the Disney princesses. And as you know, I had started it on a piece of self-dyed fabric that was, while it's beautiful and it will be great for the right project, I didn't like the way it looked with how I was stitching the castle. And it made it so that it wasn't a joyful stitch. I didn't look forward to stitching it as much. And I am a huge Disney fan. Huge, like crazy Disney fan, which is bizarre that I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland. I have worked for Disney at the Disney stores here. I have, my favorite character is Winnie the Pooh, and has been since I was like 3 or 4 years old, maybe even younger. So for me to not enjoy stitching something like that, it was weird. So I kicked it back and forth, and finally I just said, you know what? I have fabric. I could dye it, and if I don't like the way it looks, I can go back to the original one because I didn't pluck it out. I didn't cut out that chunk. And I can just use it like what for a different project. That's fine. So I got busy dyeing, and I dyed the first piece, and I thought, God, that's really pretty. I really, really like that. And I could envision stitching a bunch of different projects on it. And I was like, you know what? I still have more fabric, because if you are not familiar with Rita Renee on Facebook, her prices are so low. Now you have to order, give yourself some lead time, because she's basically a one-man show, and so things, it does take a little bit longer on shipping sometimes. But I can buy 60 inches wide, 18 count Ada in just a slightly like creamy off-white for $8 a yard. And if you buy like 5 or 6 yards, she will discount that even. You can't beat it. So I dyed my first piece, and again, I thought, oh my God, that is exactly what I want. The only thing that is missing is some glitter. Like, I wanted it a little shimmery because it is Disney, and Disney sparkles. But I have the spray, the fabric paint spray that does glitter. So I was like, maybe, maybe not. I think for now I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to show you. So I dyed fabric. And you are totally not even, of course the sun goes up even higher, and you are not even going to be able to tell. But it is very close to the color that I am stitching Summertime from Primrose Cottage Stitching, that sea glass green, which is like my favorite color, is sea glass. Well, actually I like blue, like ocean blue, that soft bluey green. Okay, so I dyed a piece. I have 60 inches wide by just over 2 yards. It is slightly modeled. I wish you guys could see the fabric color. Oh my God. So then I was like, you know what? I love this color so much. And I could see a lot of my stitching on it. A lot of stitching on it. So I got another big old chunk of just over 2 yards, 60 inches wide. I added a little bit more blue dye to get, and then I was like, okay, so they are slightly different. Again, you can't see it because cameras and lights and okay, about right here is about the only place it's showing sort of true to color. It is modeled, but not like, it's not like, oh, that's modeled. No, it's not. It's a soft modeling. It's so pretty. They are about, so this one is about 2 to 3 shades darker than this one. So I'm going to restart the Disney sale on this. What I have decided is I'm going to put Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty's castles up on columns 1 and 3. In the middle, the dog bells are ringing. Ladies, I'm going to put The Wonderful World of Disney. And I have the Disney font already charted out, thanks to Yvette, I believe. That's where I got it from Ivory Needle store, Ivory Needle shop on Etsy. That's what I'm going to put in the middle, because that's what was always, it was always The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights. When I was a kid, I'm pretty sure it was Sunday night. It was in the evening, and you would watch a Disney movie, and it was like this is okay. So then I can put Maleficent's castle on the bottom of row 1, and then the little flourishes like it's actually charted by Clouds Factory. I am also going to put under the wonderful world of Disney magic. I'm going to put the year that Mickey Mouse started all the way through 2022, because that gives me an end date where I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what happens if another princess comes out next year and I don't have room on my fabric. It's a start date, it's an end date. It works for my brain. So I did that. The other thing, while I had the dye out and I was playing around and whatever, I pulled out more die for One Nation by Bygone Stitches, and that is the one that Janet was sewing it. I think Bobby is now sewing it. Many people are sewing it. It is the one with the stars, and then for the stripes, it's the 50 countries, 50 states. I had finally dyed the blue. She'll remember my lovely. This is on a. It will be on a piece of. It's it's Cauldron. Cauldron Spill. It's a 28 count Lugana. It's by Laura's Fabric, and they are sold at Riverview Stitching. It is the daughter of RETM, who does the Gobbletins. I mean, she does more than the Gobbletins, but that's what. Okay, so it is absolutely gorgeous. And of course, not showing up anywhere near color. I don't know. It's like an old, okay, you know what it reminds me of now that the more I look at it is a cross between an old army green like sack and dirt, which is a really bizarre, but my son picked it out. It is an absolute stunning piece. She even, after she cut my piece, she serged all the edges for me, so it's nice and pretty. So I had dyed the blue, and I think it turned out beautifully. Let me see. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. Don't ask me to recreate it. I have no idea what I did. Don't remember. Because I'm clueless. This is my ecru. I may spray it with the antiquing dye just to make it a little bit more grungy. I know that a flag should not be grungy. I do know that. But I want my flag to look old. It has been through the war, because that is just how I'm feeling right now about our country. So then I dyed the red, and it's actually it's darker. God, it looks pink there. It is not pink, I promise. I did not make the flag red pink. It could be a little bit darker than what it is, so I'm going to hit it with the antiquing spray and see what that yields me. Or I may throw it back into some red dye and dye it again. The issue was the red dye, to get it really red, you need a lot of red dye. And somebody actually suggested, a friend of mine suggested throwing in a little bit of black with it to help it be darker. I don't know that I have black dye. I don't want it glaring in your face red, because then that would not go with, I mean, when I hold them up like this, okay, it still looks like it's faded, but okay. So when I do this, yeah, I think the red still, I think I'm going to have to throw it back into some red dye, because it's just looking a little too pink. But then that looks almost white, and that is not white. That is coffee dyed for sure. But see, like, it doesn't look bad there. So, that is what I did. Like, I know. That's a crazy amount of stuff. Like, for me, on top of everything else. So, let's talk a little bit about, we've got two things to cover. One is Houdini, and two is this concept that I have for going into next year with Whip Go and some of my other whips. So let's talk about Houdini. So I got a text from her, hey, we found Houdini, he's back. You want to meet this weekend? And I was like, absolutely, that's fine. Saturday morning rolls through, nothing. I text her, and she's like, I'm busy, can we just do it tomorrow morning? Late morning, early afternoon. Oh, okay, that's fine. Because I didn't have anything set where I had a couple things I needed to do, but I was flexible but when they got done. But mostly I was going to be working on homework. And I was told that Houdini was fully vetted. He's not. He hasn't been to a vet in a couple years. So he has no vet, like none of his vaccines are up to date. I was told I was getting a litter box. I was getting, enough food to last him for a couple weeks. I was getting his scratching post, all of this stuff, right? No. I got 2 cupfuls of kitty litter, no kitty box, litter box. I got I got like 10 cans of wet food and like 2 cups of dry food, and that's it. And I can't figure out where this wet food comes from because one, I don't pay attention to cat food brands. I didn't have cats. But it's Mitten Morsels. So if you know where that is from, if you could let me know, because I have never heard of it. And I have not, I will be honest with you, I have not Googled it, which would probably yield an answer to me, but I haven't. So Houdini finally came, for a while there, he was in his crate. I had my daughter put his little crate in her room because then we can shut the door and she would be like, she's usually in her room. But that way the dogs wouldn't bother him and we could all let him decompress a little bit and then we'll slowly introduce the dogs and stuff like that, right? He finally came out of the crate last night and he crawled under my daughter's bed. He will let us pet him and stuff, but he's very much decompressing. So come to find out, this woman has been taking care of this cat, not short term, for years. For several years, she said. And that was her words. Several years. But she got a dog. And the dog doesn't like Houdini. And has gone after Houdini. And so Houdini decided to hide in the basement. And that's where they left him. And every once in a while when the dog was like outside or it's actually not the mom's cat, it's the sister's cat who is going into assisted living for I'm not sure what reasons. Now maybe she's the one who's my mom, like, I don't know. And so if the sister comes over, she would either go in the basement and play with and cuddle Houdini, or Houdini would come up and sit on the couch with her and stuff. The woman who I got Houdini from and the caretaker that would come into the home both gave my mom different stories about what was going on. So I'm not quite sure. All I know is he is beautiful. And he is 16. I'm going to be calling my vet to see if I can get him in this week. He does not have fleas. I checked. There's no ear mites. I checked that too with him having been outside and things. He's not underweight that I mean, like he's a chunky little, he's a chunky little man. Again, he's absolutely beautiful. But this cat has been through far too much. So my initial plan was to get him from her so that she didn't turn him out into a barn cat. And I would try to find him a new home. To put this cat through yet another transition like that would be cruel. I know my dogs well enough to know that they will adjust fairly rapidly to him and it won't be a problem. And so we have made the decision to keep Houdini. And we will adjust because that is, people shouldn't treat animals like that. That I've said what I said. That to me is one of the lowest forms of human beings in this world. One of them. And so yeah. So I now have 3 crazy rescue dogs and a geriatric old cat. and we still have 4 guinea pigs that my daughter has rescued over the years. Because her senior project was a guinea pig, like she would rescue guinea pigs. And we rehomed quite a few, and we had quite a few, and with time, you know, guinea pigs don't last forever, sadly, so we have lost some. And so yeah, so there's that. Okay. Of course, we all know I don't know how to put a picture in yet. So I can't say I'm going to put a picture of Houdini up because I don't know how. But if you go to my Instagram, there is a picture of Houdini there. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to tackle next year. So thank you, Bobby, for... So Bobby did this thing where this year her goal was to touch every single whip of hers and put in 100 stitches, which means then she also had the opportunity to decide whether she wanted to UFO it, you know, or pass it along or restart it or whatever. It gave her the options because, you know, what it raises the whole question. If you have this whip and you are not touching it and not putting in work to push towards a finish or to make progress on it, is it a whip you want to keep? And I was like, I bet you have a bazillion whips. Like, I thought I had close to 100. I do not. And I know this because I went through my whips and my kits, and I made one list for whips and one list for kits. Now, if you added together, I'd have close to 100. But we don't add together. Okay. So I set my so I made my list. Whips, kits. Okay. Then I also made a list of sewing whips and knitting and crochet whips. And I have one more crochet whip. But I don't know where my pen is. Because I will forget. I will use my weird blue pen. Okay. 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 So I have my sewing whips, my knitting, crochet whips, my cross stitch whips. Clearly we know where I spend most of my time. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So I have my focus pieces for Whip Go. And these are ones that I want to see significant progress on. So my goal again is just 10 days. And the month that it's called, it gets 10 days where I focus on that project. Okay. We know this. On there is Buffet Mat by Unconventional Cross Stitch, my Rosie the Truck, Modern Folk Embroidery Cell from 2021. Don't judge. Jeep Van Gogh, the picture of Dennis and Kay for my friend's parents, the Monopoly board, Climbing Goats Designs Space Sal. Now that I've got the error corrected and I'm good with the background. And the periodic table. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 main projects. I don't think once I get going, like Monopoly is on here. Only twice. But I have 2 sides of Monopoly, I think, done. And not the back stitching. I mean, I have to still do the back stitching. So I think 20 good days on that. My goal, honestly, my goal is to have Monopoly be able to be put under the tree for my son next year. And then I just want to see really big, significant progress on the rest of them. So we have this. Now, these whips are also on my whip list, okay? So we're going to set that there. The other thing, don't forget that I'm going to do is as we work through the books by Jennifer Chavarini, I am going to be working on my Sylvia bridal quilt. That is my big sewing whip, which is listed on my sewing whip list. Now, some of these are pretty easy, and if I sit down and would just sit my butt down in a chair in front of my sewing machine with a lot of white thread, I could probably knock out several of these in a day. Or like if I took one weekend and made it like the sewing weekend, I could knock off several of these. This is good. That is good because we can plan those, right? Right? Okay, so here's my plan for how I'm going to make progress on this list. So, Bobby, I only have 46, and if that's, and that, let me see something. Hang on. Okay. So I have 46. That includes taking back the French horn from my son, who hasn't really stitched on it, to get him some progress so that he can, because apparently what he wants to do is add more to this pattern. Dude, I'm like, dude, stitch the French horn first and then we'll go from there. Okay. So I have 46. There are 52 weeks in a year. There are 52 cards in a deck, which leaves me 6 open spots. 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly assign each of these a playing card. So maybe it's the 5 of diamonds, maybe it's the King of spades. And I'm going to have my deck of cards. And every week on Monday, when I film my Flosstube, because I usually film it on Mondays, I am going to pull a new playing card. And that week, I will also have to not only do my Whip Go board goals, I will work on one of these projects. Now, again, these are also on here, so that will also give each one of these, what did I say, 7 projects, 8 projects? An additional week to be worked on. If it is a week that does not have a whip, I can either, what I've decided, and I decided that this was the holdup in what I was going to do. I can either start a new start, or I can take a bye week and not have an extra project. So these weeks may be really good for like when I have finals or if I'm sick. So that is how I'm going to tackle that. Or maybe I have 4 knit and crochet whips. So what I could also do is throw the 4, I could throw my knit whips on the bottom and pick 2 quilt whips that I want to push and get done or make some good progress on. I could throw them on the bottom and have those be the extra 6 so that it's not all cross stitch focused. So if you'd like to join me on I'm going to call it 52 whip pickup, kind of like 52 card pickup, where you throw the cards on the floor and then you make the other person pick them up because we're all mean as little kids. That's what I'm going to do with these. I think that should be fun. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Again, this is a plan right now. I can't tell you if I'm going to be stressed out and keep up with my plan, but that is my crafting plan for 2023. Which leads me into, for Thanksgiving Day, I am going to a friend. It's actually going to be a really weird holiday because usually the kids and I are together for all holidays. I don't think we've missed a single holiday in their entire 22 years of life because my twin's birthday was last week. So my babies are 22. Okay. But this year for Thanksgiving, Bean and I are going to my friend's house. Boy child decided he didn't want to go. Mad respect for him. I guess him and my ex-husband are going to do something that day. And so, oh look, we have another project in here. Weird. What the heck? I don't know. I have an extra project in there. This could be a start too, now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, so I'm actually going to have help making, like, more than just my kids. We're actually going to get to kind of sit back on Thanksgiving and not have the main pool. Now, I may do then Thanksgiving with the boy child and my daughter at the house on like Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But my thought is that on that day I'm going to stitch. I can't stitch on the one project because it's a gift for the person that we will be spending the day with. So I can't work on that project with them because that would spoil the surprise. What I thought I would do is see if I could make some progress on a Thanksgiving Day stitch. So I pulled out one of my whips, which is on my list, which is by Country Cottage Needleworks. I always mess that up. And it is Be Thankful. It is so pretty with the white pumpkins. Although I'm thinking I kind of want to change one of the pumpkins to turquoise. That turquoise, but then I was like, then it's going to kind of throw off the whole, I don't know. So I think I'm just going to leave it white. Because I don't think you can just change one of them. I think you'd have to change more than one of them for it to look right. Okay, so I started this. I don't even remember when I started this, which is a shame. I could probably go back and watch my Flosstubes and figure it out. That is all all I have done. Yo, part of that curly Q. That's it. That's it. So I could work on this one for Thanksgiving. I actually have all of the flosses in here for it, I think. Well, I have flosses that don't belong to this pattern in here. I do. Okay, now I think I know where they go. Okay, so this is on a piece of self-dyed 18 count Ada. Oh, so good. That is so pretty. You know, sometimes I impress myself with my dyeing ability. Okay, so we can work on that. The other one that was in here, and I think this is where most of the colors go to, I would have to pull a piece of fabric, not a big deal, is the Lizzie Kate Thankful string. I have all of these but the cat one, and now I gotta go buy the damn cat one. Okay, I'm gonna have to go get the cat one because I don't have the cat one. I have the dog one because at the time I did not have cats, and she didn't do a guinea pig one. So now I feel like I need to have the cat one for Houdini. So I could work on this. This should be a fairly quick stitch. If it's like the Bent Creek alphabet string that I did for St. Patrick's Day, that one would go fairly fast. That only took me a couple days of stitching, like random stitching. Or the third option is, and it's all kitted up, including fabric, which is crazy. It's like almost like a lilac-y brown. It's a weird color, but it's so pretty and it's so perfect. And that is to continue my Wiener Dog series with turkey sausage. Oh, we got it upset. There's the Wiener Dogs. Again, it's already kitted up with the fabric and the flosses and the needle in there. So that would be a new start. The string would be a new start, or I could work on a whip on Thanksgiving. So let me know what you think I should do for Thanksgiving. Which one? With that, I have a couple giveaways because I have been going through my stash and organizing and going, okay, realistically, I'm never going to stitch that. And while it's pretty, it's just not going to happen in my world. So I have 4 giveaways this week. So all you have to do is let me know Just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Because honestly, my brain power. Okay, so the first one is this beautiful The Needleworks sampler. It's very pretty. Those motifs. I don't think the picture probably does this justice, and that just looks like the weird 80s 90s vibe. But I'm betting, like, in person, that is gorgeous. It's very pretty. And if I didn't have so much other stuff that I want to stitch, I would stitch it, but I don't. So if you'd like this one, just comment 1. Let's see. Then we have by Heartstrings, Noah and Company. Okay, let's just do these all together because they're all the same series, but they're not all the animals in this series. So you can go off and find whatever you want, or you could just, so if you want these 3, number 2, and that is the elephant pair, super cute, the hippo pair, and I think I was going to do these for my mom, and I have decided not to do them for my mom. And then the panda. So again, number 2 is Noah's Ark, and you would get all 3. Number 4, that's 1, 2, 3, please. 2, 1. Number 3 is a Precious Moments tree. That doggy is so cute. So, they honestly, that reminds me of Bella and William. I should stitch that. That looks like Bella and William. I could add a little bit more red to his hair. And we used to have a big puffy chow that was this color. So if you'd like the Christmas Precious Moments, number 3. Okay, so with that, that is all I got. That is enough. That is crazy amounts of stuff. With that, I'm going to go write up my cheat sheet for my test tonight and ideally write another paper and get that done. So I'm going to smush these 2 videos together. I will talk to you soon. If you need me, go ahead and message me. Instagram is probably the easiest way at His Princess Kelly. Drop me a message below. Contact me. I don't know. Send a carrier pigeon. And we'll go from there. As for next week, this week coming up, what am I going to focus on? That would be the black circle on the Marine Corps emblem. Catching up the Under the Sea cell. Finishing up my Whip Go goal for Tree of Life. And then maybe work on the Disney cell. The Disney storybook cell. I don't know. I'm going to be focusing on this. So whatever's left on here, between this and my Whip Go board, that's what we're working on. Because I have finished several. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. So I will let you guys go. I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.